men saying, I've just decided altogether to avoid women, that it's better to be single, guys.
Can we talk about how hard it is to leave the good guy? When you say, I want a divorce, and he's like, no, I want to work this out. Everything's going to be fine.
What happened to happy wife, happy life?
Happy life, happy wife is a thing of the past. Men today aren't falling for it anymore.
Let's talk about dating in this generation. I have a lot of people telling me that they're getting ghosted.
The last people on this planet who need to be giving women dating advice is men.
I'm not too proud to admit that I'm part of the reason why I'm single. Look, baby, sometimes it's me.
Women who are too picky end up being women who claim to be single by choice later on. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
So, a hyena asked me, girl, if you think we are the hyenas in the Western world, what do you call those passport bros, huh? Well, obviously, they are the victims of the hyenas.
You know, you leveled up when you used to be with a man that made you pay half on Plan Bs, and now you're with a man that just pays for it fully. Period. Girl breakfast. And it matches my... It's pink, because I'm just a girl. Everything pink.
You need help.
Men saying, I've just decided altogether to avoid women, that it's better to be single, guys. They're almost like happy about the fact that they're gonna make the choice to avoid the entire gender of women because they have yet to actually resolve the war they have within themselves.
It is not because they're fighting a war within themselves. It is because they found peace with themselves. And she was so close. She was just so close to getting there because at least she's recognizing what men are saying. Because they're tired of the complaining, the double standards, the expectations, and the risk of losing everything that they've built. There is no unresolved internal war going on in these men. He just found peace and contentment on his own instead of using that energy and effort on someone else.
I lost everything to the woman I trusted and was always faithful to. I'll never let anyone have that kind of power over me again. Haven't dated in 14 years. I will never marry. I adopted children. I have money. I have horses. I have peace. I have peace. I have peace. It is definitely better and safer. There is no war within ourselves. I haven't had an argument in 2 years. Personal best for me. I have more money than I've ever had, and I can do what I want with no consequences. For some men, it's really the trauma that comes with it all. The constant feeling of not being enough, not doing enough, or never being appreciated the way they need to be. It's the emotional exhaustion that builds up over time, from always being the one to sacrifice, to provide, to support, while receiving little to no reciprocity in return. Many men are tired of always being selfless, putting their woman first and making her needs the priority, only to be met with indifference or worse, being taken for granted. It's not just about feeling unappreciated.
If you've been wondering where are all the good men, I actually have some homework for you. Start to find and pay attention to the qualities that you love in the men who are around you. The men you know, the men you don't know, the guy at the grocery store who asks to help carry your stuff out to your car. Because when you say, where are all the good men, I already know that you are in a pattern of looking for negative qualities in men. And you're finding them. So start looking for the good men and you will find them.
When I do choose to go on a date, I want you to feed me. I don't want to just go for drinks. And I feel like a lot of people will say like a coffee date or like, let's just go for drinks and like see if we vibe and then let's do dinner the next time. I see that as like, you're cheap. No, let's go to dinner. Let me see the way you order. Let's see your mannerisms. Let's see the vibes. You're going to order 1 dessert or 2 desserts. Let's see how generous you are. And I don't know, like I feel like already when you're going on a date, you're taking a risk. So like if you're not willing to like take the risk and feed me and you're only like down to take me for drinks, I find that weird. Like I'm not into that.
Dating to these women is like an experiment. Sometimes they really forget why they're there. What's the issue with going for drinks to see if there's a connection? And going on dates 2 or 3 times a week cost money, It doesn't matter if you're a six-figure earner or not. What's worse? When you go on these dates, she's just expecting to come and eat, not contribute anything. Whenever a woman say, "Come show me how generous you are," she's gauging her interest by how much you spend on the date. These types aren't looking for something serious. It's just a free meal ticket to them.
Okay, so we've all heard of passport bros at this point, right? I think it's time we start passport sisters. And like, hear me out. Please repost this, share this, whatever. I think women should start leaving. Like, if men really don't want us that bad out here, like, it's pretty bad. Have you looked at any of the posts? Like,
my dating experience in Korea hasn't been so great, and I learned kind of the hard way Korean people don't really like Black women so much. So I've tried to use a lot of Korean dating apps, and I used a lot of American dating apps, Bumble, Hinge, Tinder, etc., etc. And usually Korean people, if I use a Korean app, I get a lot of negative responses, and Korean people have told me I shouldn't be on the app, and they're not looking for people my color, things like that.
Why is it that Italians hate blacks? Like, some of Italians hate blacks. They don't like blacks. Can that be true? I don't get it. Like, they don't like blacks. Almost 15 years in this country, I would say I have a little bit of experience. I know what I am really saying. Why some Italians don't like we foreigners? Can that be true? Yes, that can be true. They don't like blacks. Not all of them, don't get me wrong. Some of them love blacks. They love us. Why most of them, they don't want to see us.
Maybe that's your experience, but not ours. Passport bros.
I don't know why they always think they can compete, but it just doesn't work that way. Passport brothers exist for a reason. Men want traditional wives who bring peace, respect, and partnership into the relationship. The passport cis movement, on the other hand, exists because these women feel like they have something to prove, trying to show they can do what men do, as if it's some kind of competition. But the reality is, we are not the same. Men and women look for different things in relationships, and if women actually listened to men and understood what they truly want, men wouldn't feel the need to fly out to other countries to find wives. There are many factors as to why men are leaving, but some of the biggest reasons boil down to delusional expectations and extremely high demands. A lot of these women have a list of requirements: financial stability, emotional support, a luxury lifestyle, but they can't provide those same things for themselves. They expect a man to be the full package, but they don't hold themselves to the same standard. It's the entitlement that drives men away. No thank you.
Look at this article I found today. The dangerous rise of men who won't date woke women. Pathetic. I know you probably can't tell, but I'm quite woke and very alert to social injustice. Woke discrimination in dating should not be tolerated. Also, who wouldn't want this? I mean, look at these bangs. They're perfect. Come to think of it, I've been single for the past 10 years, ever since I started free bleeding in women's marches. But what kind of man doesn't love that level of confidence? I don't even have that many dating requirements. I mean, he has to be a vegan, obviously, and he must have his pronouns in his bio. He must provide proof of vaccination and all his boosters, and he must wear an N95 mask or equivalent during sex, but forget about condoms because that's what abortion healthcare is for. He needs to be okay with the fact that I don't shave any body hair, but he has to be perfectly manscaped with the body of Chris Hemsworth. He also must be okay with the fact that I wear natural deodorant. It doesn't really work, but at least I don't have aluminum seeping into my skin. And last but not least, he must not like video games or sports. So I don't really know what the problem is. I'm a total catch. Did you ever think that maybe it's your attitude? Or maybe it's your irrational list of standards? What do you mean attitude? Also, I don't have to lower my standards for any man or anyone.
This right here is a perfect representation, and men can definitely spot these types of women from miles away. They have this energy that just screams trouble. insufferable, entitled, and very hard to deal with. It's like every conversation or interaction is a battle, and no man with any self-respect or standards would willingly put himself through that kind of hell. Dealing with these woke women feels more like a chore than a relationship, constantly tiptoeing around their opinions and inflated sense of self-importance. It's exhausting because they often come with an air of superiority, thinking they're more enlightened or evolved, when in reality they're just difficult.
There is a reason that men make fun of single women.
And what reason would that be?
Whether it be a single mom or someone who's just chosen to never marry, and it's because they feel threatened.
Somehow I doubt that.
The more women who take that route, the less women there will be available to them. And they're afraid of other women looking at those women who are single and being like, oh, like she's actually pretty happy and satisfied, and then following suit.
That's an interesting theory. I'll give one that.
So they make fun of them and try to paint them in a bad light so that doesn't happen.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
And the reason men want a larger dating pool is not because they actually like women and want to find like their soulmate or someone they love they want to share their life with.
Oh, okay. So what is the reason?
They're afraid of being alone. Well, they are afraid of being alone.
Some perhaps, but a large amount of men are actually perfectly happy being single.
But it's because they don't know how to do things for themselves. They want a wife because they want someone to cook and clean for them and take care of everything and basically be their mother who they can also sleep with.
That's actually not what most men want, but by all means, go on with that narrative.
Nothing makes a man angrier than seeing an older woman who is single and happy. Before men come in my comments like, I am married. I am married to a man. But if you don't want to be alone forever, you're just going to have to step up because women are finally standing up for themselves and asking for more. And that more is what they've always deserved.
Granted, there are some men out there that do seem to enjoy making fun of women that are single. However, whether right or wrong, a lot of those women tend to make it a little bit too easy to do. But I digress. But do bear in mind that there are quite a few men out there that are actually choosing the peace of being single for a lot of the same reasons that women are. But I guess if one is going to worry about men making fun of women that are going to remain single, then I suppose one should keep that same energy for women that make fun of men for doing the very same thing.
I've been single for a decade, worked on myself, and if this woman is what's out there, I'll stay single. That's the kind of theory that only comes with someone who sees connecting with others as a game you're supposed to win. Peace and quiet in your circle is the most important part of a man's life, and women think that they own that peace and quiet that you have. I'm 35, I was married and was so unhappy. Now I'm divorced and single again. I'm happy. Everyone deserves love though. I've never known any man that this woman is describing, but the theory she came up with is pretty funny though. It's ironic, especially because there are plenty of women who claim to be happily single, yet are still out here seeking men. It really begs the question, if you're truly happier without men, why are you still looking for one? It's contradictory. If being single is so fulfilling, shouldn't they be content with that life instead of constantly searching for a relationship? The truth is, a lot of these women might say they're happy being single, but deep down, many of them still crave companionship, validation, and emotional support that only a partner can provide. It's almost like they're trying to convince themselves, or maybe others, that they don't need men, but their actions tell a different story. The reality is, many of them are still dating, still going out, still looking for someone to fill that void they won't admit exists.
So if you ask 100% of women what they want in a guy, they list 20% of men, sometimes less. So if you want a guy that's over 6 foot, that's only 15% of guys. You want him to be good looking, cut it in half. You want him to make money, cut that in half.
Can we talk about how hard it is to leave the good guy? When you say, I want a divorce, and he's like, no, I want to work this out. Everything's going to be fine. You know, we can get through this. And he's so encouraging and everything's just so fucking peachy keen, right? We talk about how I'm manipulated into staying because he's a good guy. He does nothing wrong. Like, the only thing he's guilty of is being lazy and you know, not putting in effort like we did when we were in the beginning of our relationship, like any other marriage. He doesn't beat me, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't take money from me, but he downplays my emotions. I don't think he fully understands me. And we've talked about this, y'all. This has all been in counseling, but how do you leave the good guy? I'm having like an internal battle right now because like I want to leave. I want to file divorce papers and I want to freaking run to Maine or something. I mean, am I the crazy one? Am I the crazy one? Because I keep throwing these fits and fighting with him. I look legit crazy because I literally stay in bed all day. A lot of that is because if I don't stay in bed all day, I will nitpick him. And I didn't start doing this until like last year. Like because I'm so unhappy with myself that I will nitpick him and tear him apart. So if I stay in bed, I won't be mean. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And I'm only sharing this because I swear to God, I promise transparency. And I swear to God, I promise the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I am struggling today. But this has been an ongoing struggle for the past like 6 months of my marriage. And I've said it here and there in videos, but I've never gotten this raw. I'm tired of marriage counseling. I'm tired of trying. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready for a divorce. I'm exhausted. I'm mentally at my capacity. I feel like I'm stretched thin. I feel like I can't describe it. But I am not okay today.
Manipulated into staying, proceeds to explain that he's done nothing wrong. Leave so another woman can be blessed. My mum did this. My dad was a good guy, busy providing and supporting the family. She did nothing. She broke the family apart and moved away. She regrets that 10 years later she has nothing. She literally said that this man is a good man and great guy. How are all the women in the comments still blaming him? Crazy. The amount of men that feel like this, but stay regardless, and women who leave as soon as they don't feel happy, is insane. That man isn't lazy at all. It's just difficult to show effort to someone who only cares about themselves and doesn't reciprocate. No one wants to keep putting in energy when it's constantly one-sided. At this point, the woman just needs to leave and let that man find a good woman who will truly appreciate him. It's frustrating to watch because I don't understand this mindset some of these women have. Why leave the good guy if he's supposedly a good guy? Isn't that exactly what they said they wanted? It's almost like they don't even know what they truly want, or maybe they thought they did, until they realized it required effort on their part as well. The truth is, it often seems less about the man and more about their own internal issues. She should have started the video with, "I'm just so unhappy with myself," because that's what it feels like. It's not that the guy isn't good enough, it's that she's projecting her own dissatisfaction onto him, blaming him for problems that are rooted in her own unhappiness. Instead of working on herself, she's pushing away the one person who actually values her. It's self-sabotage at its finest, and unfortunately, the good guy gets caught in the crossfire.